Good evening. Thank you very much for joining me. I am Chad from CD Shaving. Thank you for joining me for tonight's shave. About a couple of days worth of growth. And tonight we're going to be taking this stuff off, having a real nice shave, getting it nice and smooth. Just having good shave. That's what I felt like doing today. But instead of doing a soap review, I do have a bunch of soaps I want to do a review on. But I decided to do something a little bit different tonight. In fact, tonight I'm going to call it a viewer's choice. Viewer's choice video. And tonight I'm going to answer a question that was posed to me. I was asked to talk about the topic of cost while I did my shave. And was asked to talk about whether or not it really made sense to purchase or spend hundreds of dollars on razors and other equipment with wet shaving. Does that still make it cost effective? We'll get into that. So, but for tonight's shave, just to kind of go over the gear we're going to be using, we're going to be using Sterling's Gentleman. Sterling Gentleman is a great soap. Has kind of a cologne-y scent to it. It's pretty good. We're going to be using my Omega S Synthetic with the beech wood handle. And for the razor, mowing of the face here, we're going to be using our Mule R41. Fantastic little razor. With a fresh feather blade, ladies and gentlemen. Fresh feather blade. Perfectly aligned, ready to go. So, let the blade sit in the water here. I think we're going to finish the shave off tonight with a shave balm. I haven't decided which one, but we are going to be using Han Polo by Phoenix. Actually, I'm sorry, by Crown King, also known as Phoenix, but we'll say Crown King because that's the company on the flask. Finish it off with that. All right, so a little bit of more water on our face here. We've got the puck bloomed. Okay. So let's get right into it, shall we? We're talking about cost. What I did was I put a lot of thought into this, actually, before I just went ahead and did a video. You know what I mean? And I was thinking about how much does it cost for somebody to get into wet shaving from go, and get themselves set up for, let's just say, a year. So I did some math. Now, I suck in math. So some of you out there may be double checking my numbers. But suffice it to say, for the most part, it's right on. Anyway, so let's talk about the whole wet shaving. You want to get started into wet shaving, you're brand new, and you need to kind of start from the beginning. So we're going to go with a soap or a cream. You're going to buy a soap or a cream. You're going to spend, on average, and again, this is average, between $8 and $15. Are there creams and soaps that are more money? Absolutely, of course there is. But that's an average. Okay, $8 to $15 will get you something of decent quality. You know, if $15 will pretty much buy any Sterling product, well, give or take, and Razor Rock, you know, any of those guys out there. So that's your cream, $8 to $15. But you also need a razor, right? So the razor is probably one of the biggest variables, but let's say you buy a basic safety razor, something of a good quality, but basic anyway. That's going to run you, from what I went on Amazon and poked around at some of the more commonly purchased ones, Merkur. Parker had a few up there. But okay, so you buy a razor. Your razor cost is going to be, the initial cost is going to be between $25 and $30. Okay, and now again, I know you can go out there and probably buy what some might consider a better razor for more money. This is just initial cost. This is somebody that's jumping right into it, you know. So then you need blades. Amazon's a wonderful place for blades. And I don't think there's be anybody out there that would argue with me on that. And if you have Amazon Prime, it's even better. So let's take away the blade pack or the sample pack for a second. Let's just say you know exactly what blade will work for you for whatever reason you happen to know. So you buy a 100 pack of blades. Now, a 100 pack of decent quality blades, we'll go with Astras. Those seem to be the medium grade. A 100 pack of Astra blades on Amazon Prime, I'm using Amazon Prime, shipped to your door is about $35. Then you're looking at a brush. You can get one of these by Omega. Decent brand, probably not the highest quality brand, but it's pretty well respected. You know, it's something I think everybody has at least one in their shaved end. It may not be a synthetic, but it's an Omega. You get yourself a synthetic Omega, that'll run you about $15, maybe even less, because I paid less for that one. And again, it'll work just fine. Aftershave, you can get it. You can aftershave run you between $15 and $25 for, you know, again, something decent. But let's just go on the conservative side and say you spent $15 on an aftershave. And this is all stuff online. I'm not talking the stuff you walk into Walmart and grab it off the shelf. Then, depending on how you lather, if you decide to bowl lather, you're going to need a bowl, which I use these Japanese soup bowls, and I priced it at my local Asian market today, which you can find them even cheaper, I think, at other places, but I happen to be near it. The bowl was like $10. So then, let's see. Say you decide to buy, you know, you get an Allen block. It's another $10. So then I compared it to the other shaving I've seen, which a lot of people seem to use the Mach 3, the Gillette Mach 3, I think it is. So you buy a pack of those online. Comes in a pack of 5 for $9.99. Now, if you want to compare it to the 100 pack you get, right? The 100, you know, the 100 pack of Astras shipped to your door is $35 or around $35. You get a 100 pack of those Mach 3s and they come in a pack of 5. You're looking at $199. So about $200. So you could be into the entire thing of wet shaving, getting started right out the door for about $120 to get yourself started and set for the year. You're into it for $200 in blades alone. You haven't even bought shaving cream using a Mach 3 if you buy this many blades all at once. And then fast forward to the following year. Say you need to replenish your supplies. You need another soap or two. But you're not going to need to replace your razor. If you need to buy blades again, which you won't. But if you, no, I mean, you'd have to use, it just, I did the math. You won't. But if you did, even if you had to buy blades again, plus you know, another soap, and say you decide you dropped the aftershave and you had to get another one. Again, it's another 15 and and 35. It's not, you can't compare it. Now, do you need to go through and purchase 30 shave soaps? No, you don't. To get a good shave in, you don't. I do stuff like that because I like it, because I like the way, I like trying new things. I like the way, I like the way these products smell. That's part of the fun. It's part of the hobby. So, yeah, obviously at some point you reach a threshold where you're spending more money in wet shaving than you would. If you do it as a hobby, you're going to spend more money in wet shaving. But I think if you're out there dropping all kinds of money on different razors and you've got 30 or so soaps, it's more of a hobby. It's not just shaving at that point. So to ask yourself, well, then is it really worth it? Yeah, because it's not about money at that point. It's not about saving money at that point. It's about getting good shaves and enjoying your hobby. If it's not a hobby for you and you just want to have good shaves, you won't be having 30 soaps and, 10, between 5 and 10 razors. I know a lot of people out there have way more than that, but you're not going to have all that equipment if you're just looking for a shave and a shave only. So, I want to compare apples to apples here. It's not, you don't want to be, I understand you want to save money. If you're in it to save money, you can do it without buying all this stuff, without any problem, and you'll get the end result, a great shave, and your skin will love you for it. And so will your spouse. Believe me. Unless somebody, a guy with irritated, razor bumped, stubbly, smelly skin is a huge turn on for some people. I guess some people are into that. But I've never met a woman who is. Now, oops. So after saying all that, ask yourself, if you're asking yourself, is it still worth it to me? Is it still a cost savings? Check my math. Check it out. Go on Amazon, take a look. Or even not Amazon, check out Maggard Razors. Even if you're paying shipping, it's still worth it. It still makes sense. The cost of blades is just so astronomical. They're obscene, I think. And there's no reason for it. Other than to take somebody's money. But yeah, if it's a hobby, at some point you cross that line where it becomes not cost effective at all. But it doesn't matter because it's a hobby. It's a different thing altogether. I mean, I know wet shavers that don't give a shit about the forums. They don't care about meetups. They could give a crap less about the newest smelling aftershave. They find one soap that works well for them, and they bought one razor years ago, and that's what they use. That's what they do. It works, and that's what they do. I know one guy that uses one soap. He uses Parasso White. I think he's got a Mercur 37. See? I don't remember what he uses for blades. But his hobby is shooting. He likes guns. I mean, the same could be asked for that. You know, is it worth buying, spending hundreds of dollars on firearms for home defense? Well, if you're buying firearms, or not hundreds of dollars, thousands, if you're spending thousands of dollars on firearms for home defense, then it's not really just about home defense at that point, is it? It's about the hobby, or it's about the sport maybe of target shooting. And at that point, yeah, you have home defense. But you're enjoying your hobby as well. Now, if you're not into shooting for a hobby, and you strictly just want home defense, it is cost effective. You spend a couple $100 on a decent firearm and you have home defense. End of story. You don't have to buy a whole bunch of firearms for that. It's the same. When I first started this wet shaving, I looked at it for two things. I was looking to save money, and I was looking for a better shave. And I got both. And it was completely cost effective for like 6 months. And I started looking at all the soaps. Actually, I was looking for techniques. I was looking for better techniques on how to make a lather. And I kept seeing all these different soaps everyone was using. I was like, what's that? What's this? I never heard that one. And I was like, oh, look at the label on that one. That one's cool. Because I don't know about you guys, but there are people out there that purchase wine because of the labels, or they collect wine bottles, because of the labels. I kind of feel the same way about shaving soap. I mean, there are some artisans out there, fantastic artisans. You know that. But some of the labels that come out on these things are so cool. I love them. They're awesome. My first soap I bought ever, and this was for functionality alone. I bought it for price point, functionality, and reputation of being a good soap company, was Barrister & Mann's Oceana Lather. Now, when I started looking for reviews and stuff on how to make a better lather, because I was kind of having a little trouble with it at first. I was new. I had seen, I forget who it was. I think it might have been Nick Shaves, or it might have been the Stallion. Somebody did a review on a soap, and in that review, they mentioned Razor Rock's Motherfucker. They didn't even, the review wasn't on that soap, but they mentioned it. And I thought, that's a great name for a soap. So as soon as I remember finishing the video and pulling up Razor Rock's website, and I bought it sight unseen. I bought it right away. I don't think I even looked at the scent notes. I bought it because of the name and because of the name alone. And I thought the label was cool. And I thought, it's shaving soap. I'm sure it'll work fine. If I don't like the scent, the name alone and the label's friggin' awesome. And then it just went from there. I actually love that scent. I love that soap too. It works great, and the scent is beautiful on it, I think. So I ended up purchasing, and that's kind of how it turned into a hobby for me. After that, I started really looking at all the different companies out there and seeing all the stuff they had to offer, and there you go. All right, so I'm going to finish this shave up and come back, and we're going to do a wrap up to this video on cost and cost effectiveness of wet shaving and the differences between wet shaving as wet shaving for the shave and wet shaving for the hobby. We'll be right back. Thanks for joining us. And welcome back. The shave is done, completed, did my passes. I just rinsed off with some T. Dickinson's witch hazel here with the unscented crappy smell, and put some Aqua Velva post shave balm on that. Just kind of doing that, just doing the shave cleanup here, and rinsing off the razor and putting it back together. So bottom line, is it cost effective? And like I said, there are two shavers. There are the wet shavers who wet shave for the shave, and there are wet shavers that wet shave for the shave and the hobby. Now the hobbyists, they spend more money than the traditional wet shavers who just wet shave to shave. But both sides of it all start out as wet shavers for the shave. You become the hobbyists later on, at least my opinion. So the way I see it, the answer to that question is yes, it is cost effective. No matter which wet shaver you are, since they all both start out the same, you save money. So no matter how you cut it, both wet shavers hobbyists and wet shavers for the shave money off their budget in the end. I am Chad from CD Shave, and thank you very much for watching. If you guys have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below, and I'll get back to them as soon as I can. And if you like this video, please like it by hitting that thumbs up button. Stay away from the thumbs down button. And if you guys haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Subscribe. Come on board. Check it out. We'll be glad to have you. And every time we post a video, you'll get a notification that says we've got one on here for you. And I'd love for you to join me every time we have one. So thanks very much for watching. If you guys shave tonight, I hope you have a great shave, a great rest of the evening, and we'll see you next video.